Welcome, welcome to the Crochet Show with your host, Nikki. I am so excited that you're here. We're going to talk about 7 different ways to have multicolored crochet pattern projects. They're all different. I will have examples for all of them. I have links for all of them. I hope you're excited, and I have something special at the very end, so you better stay through the end so you get something amazing and free. So let's get started. The very first one I have for you is a Graphgan. Let me give you an example of a Graphgan, okay? The example would be this one right here, okay? This is actually a project I made a few years ago, several years ago actually. And this is my former boss who passed away, and I made this for his family, okay? So it actually, although it doesn't very much look like it on this picture, it has like 5 different colors. It's black, white, and then 3 gray colors, okay? It was very long. It took me like 2 or 3 weeks to make it. I think it was at least 2 weeks, working every single day, and it was very tedious but so rewarding. I absolutely loved it, and it turned out beautifully. And you can see that I actually went in this direction, right, back and forth like this. It was really amazing in the end. And yes, it's actually quite large. So the project in the end was, I can't even show you, it was really big. It was about half the size of me. So that's how big it was. I framed it in the end, and they have it above their piano in their hallway, and it's beautifully displayed. It's gorgeous. You can learn how to do that too, okay? I have a tutorial for that. It's a free tutorial on how to do a Graphgan, so you can check that out. It's a short little video. It pretty much talks about the intro of color changes. So number two is a fun one. Number 2 is Fair Isle. Have you ever heard of Fair Isle? It's a very interesting word, and it took me a long time to figure out what that actually meant. It simply means that it's the waistcoat stitch, and it creates a specific pattern, right? So here's an example of that right here, okay? So this is a glove pattern that I have. It's free, and it uses the waistcoat stitch, and you can see how the color changes are happening, right? I used 2 different colors, although they, variegated a little bit in brightness of it, which is kind of really fun on this one. And so you can see how in the middle of it, it kind of goes from going from down here, right? Going from this pink and then going over into the yellow. So think of like fire going into the sun or something like that, or the sun coming out, whatever you want to say. But it's really beautiful, right? So, and you can see how this kind of comes together, okay? So that is Fair Isle, okay? That is a gorgeous pattern, and there's so many different ways how you can do it. And I even made one where I have a pouch, a little pouch at Fair Isle. The idea is that you're going around and you're making a gorgeous pattern. It's very thick, and you change colors as you go using the waistcoat stitch. So that's number 2, okay? Remember to stay till the end if you want to see something really fun and free. Number 3 is Tapestry. So Tapestry can be a Graphgan. So let me be a little bit more clear. Okay, this is what I consider a tapestry, right? For me, I personally, and I got to tell you, although some people see it differently, and that's totally fine, okay? But tapestry for me is yarn that you're carrying at all times, okay? And it's most of the time done in circles, okay? And in fact, I prefer using tapestry in going into the back loop only, because it makes the transition cleaner and you don't see the colors peeking through. Now, you can say that tapestry also is Graphgan, totally fine. You can say that. I wanted to separate the 2 out because for me, a Graphgan doesn't need to have colors carried at all times. You can have bobbins, etc., right, to make it easier on yourself. Tapestry is typically, for my definition, carried at all times. So the entire time you're carrying all the yarn, you're not dropping it at all. So that is tapestry, and you go into the back loop only as well, right? So that on top of that, right? So that is the next one. So now let's hop over to Tunisian, okay? So that's number 4 of number 7, okay? So Tunisian, I actually have here a few books because I thought it would be perfect to show you multiple things, right? So I have here 3 different Tunisian books. And you can see some of them have color changes immediately there. So let me see if I'm pointing at the right thing. So here's a color change, here's a color change. This one doesn't have, this is volume 1, not as many color changes. But now you can see here, 2 and 3 have quite a bit of color changes, as you can see. This is all Tunisian, right? So one of them is called colorful, the other one is colored and striped. So you can see how many color changes are happening right here, okay? But these are beautiful examples of Tunisian projects with color changes, right? Where you have multicolored projects. That doesn't mean that the yarn is multicolored. It just means you're combining colors together to make a multicolored project, right? So if you are interested in these books, I have a link in the description for that. But I just wanted to show you that, not that you need to get it right now. So the next thing I want to show you is, let's see, it is corner to corner. And that is a fun one, actually. I got to show you. So corner to corner, I have the perfect example for that. And that is this one. And this is the alphabet blanket. The alphabet blanket actually also has numbers, so I should call it the alphabet numbers blanket, corner to corner blanket. It is done actually in mini corner to corner, but that's not the point. There's corner to corner that automatically usually means it's done in double crochet, and mini corner to corner is half double crochet. So this is done in half double crochet. It's actually made in sections like this, right? Because it was a crochet along before and then sewn together. However, you can start in one corner and work your way through the other corner. That's totally fine as well. It's just easier to do the entire project if you do it in pieces, right? And then sew together. But that's up to you. The point is, it has different colors, and as you can see on this blanket, there is no colors peeking through in any kind of direction. So it is a very clean color transitions, gorgeous. You can see it has different colors. We started like, it's like a gradient, right? You can see up here it's more red, like darker red, and then lighter red, and then it goes all the way here down here where it's really dark. Actually, I believe this is black, and then down here is like a gradient color where we used a yarn that actually has a gradient in it, which is really, really fun, right? So that is corner to corner in terms of multicolored projects. So let's hop into the next one, because the next one I have in front of me. So the plaid one, have you ever done plaid? Who has done plaid? Plaid is a fun one. That is actually every Christmas this technique goes viral. And this is my project for it. If you've ever seen it, I actually published it, I believe, during Valentine's Day because it was so beautiful. But look at this heart, right? It's so pretty. But the idea of this is actually not the heart. The idea is this, right? Which is the plaid. However, there's obviously color changes happening, right? It's on both sides, if you can see it like this, right? And it's a gorgeous pillow, all done in plaid with color changes where the center of it is white and the color, the yarn is carried through. Now, is that the same thing as a Graphgan? Yes, technically it is. Same idea, but I'm calling it plaid here because it has the plaid color palette. Let's call it that way, a specific way of arranging the colors to make it plaid looking, right? And so it's actually just like a Graphgan, but it has a specific color combination to make it look plaid, right? So that is a really, really fun one. And you can do that in any colors, in any stitches. You can use single crochet, half double crochet, double crochet even. Just keep in mind, the bigger you are in the stitches, the more the color may peek through the one that you're carrying, right? So just keep that in mind when it comes to these types of projects. So the very last one is actually one of my favorites. I personally do not have a pattern for that on my website, but it will come soon. And that is Mosaic. And here's a beautiful blanket shown right here that is done in Mosaic. And you can see how many color changes are happening here. Mosaic can be done in both rows and rounds. And as you can see, this is rows. And you can obviously see that you don't really carry so much of the yarn if you don't want to. You don't really jump it over unless you want to have clean edges. And I think this blanket was made in that way, that the yarn kind of comes out and has, like, you know, the fringe happening on the side. That I have a link for if you want to get that. It's a paid pattern though. It's not mine, but it's from someone else. It's on Etsy. It's really, really beautiful. So that was 7 different ways on creating a multicolor crochet pattern type project. Now, I gotta tell you though, I have a very tiny example for you. In order to get started, you can learn them all. In fact, you can learn them all in a weekend. Literally, in one weekend, you can learn them all. But to get started, I have something for free. I want to give you an intro on how I teach and how to do a Graphgan. Okay, let's do one of them only. Okay, and I have this cutie little right here, which is a little tiny little swatch making a smiley face with hard eyes. Okay, so this emoji you can create through a free workshop. I have a free workshop. There's a link in the description for that. It's the second link, so you can sign up for that. You can start immediately. You have 3 parts to it broken down. So if you look at this project, you will have part 1 goes about until here, right, where you're going to learn the very commonly known color transition, the basics of color transitions, okay, in crochet. And then up here, I will talk about something that will literally blow your mind. Again, this is all free, okay? This completely will blow your mind. And why am I talking about this? Down here, and I did this one on purpose, you can see there is like a little peekaboo, color bleeding if you might want to call that, right? This little peekaboo can be gone if you do a specific technique, which I teach up here. And you can see that there is only a couple of them where it actually bleeds through, barely any of them. So in order to have that, you have to think about the anatomy of a crochet stitch. And I talk about that in workshop number 2. It's extremely detailed. You really have to think about the stitches. It's phenomenal the way it's broken down and really tells exactly how to do that. And that literally allows you to get rid of the peekaboos. Now, is it easy? No, it's not very easy, but it's worth it to know this information. Again, it's free, right? Number 3, meaning workshop number 3, you will learn how to weave in your ends the right way without having any yarn tangles. Now, in this entire process, I would teach you exactly how you will carry your yarn and not carry your yarn and still have barely any yarn to weave in. Meaning you don't have a lot of bobbins flying around. You don't have yarn peeking through in every direction, right? This is literally mostly carried yarn and you can not see anything happening here, right? So think about that. And this workshop will give you all of that. It's free. However, I will tell you right away, there is a button that says you can get the course. The course is a paid course. The course will teach you in one weekend, literally in one entire weekend, you can go through this, teach you all these 7 techniques, all of them. And I'm talking even mosaic and rounds. So not just flat, but as rounds, because there's 2 different ways to do this, right? So there's technically 8, if you want to call it that way, techniques that you can learn, plus you get patterns with it, plus you get multiple workshops all in one, you have a workbook, etc., etc. So you have 2 choices here, right? Well, technically 3. You don't have to do anything. You can learn through a free workshop and be amazed at what you learn, and you can join the course. So make sure you take advantage of that. Check it out. At least the workshop, check it out, because free knowledge is always awesome, right? I have a membership too, if you want to check that out, where you get even more help and more support and live tutorials and so much fun. And we have exclusive patterns and tutorials in crochet in my membership as well. So hopefully you check it out. So many hundreds of people already have joined. I hope you're going to join too. Otherwise, I'll see you guys next week.